Welcome to The Explainer. You ever get that feeling that the wealthy are playing a totally different financial game? Well, today, we're pulling back the curtain on the exact blueprint they use to not just build, but protect their wealth for generations to come.
So here's the big question, right? And the answer, it might surprise you. It's not really about working harder or even just saving more money. The real difference maker, the secret sauce, it's something much more fundamental.
You see, the key lies in how you structure everything. Your money, your assets, your businesses. The wealthy don't just stumble into wealth. Nope, they organize it, they protect it, and they do it all with a very deliberate plan.
Okay, let's dive right into this framework. You'll hear experts call it the T formation, and honestly, it's a simple but incredibly powerful way to visualize and, build your entire financial world.
Think of it like this. The trust, that's your unshakable foundation at the bottom. Then you've got your business. That's the engine over on the left, generating all the power, the income. And the asset vault on the right, that's where you store that power and let it grow. See how it works? All three parts create a fortress for your finances.
Every strong structure has to start with a solid foundation. And in our wealth blueprint, that's the trust. This isn't just about the here and now, This is about creating something that's gonna last for generations. For most successful investors and entrepreneurs, the essential starting point is what's called a revocable living trust. Just think of it like a special bucket that you create. Now, instead of owning things in your own name, you retitle them into the name of this bucket. The best part? You still control everything. But that simple legal shift in ownership, that's what gives you all the power and protection. And here's where the magic really happens. The trust acts as a legal firewall. So when you put your business and your asset holding companies inside of it, you create a legal separation. What does that mean? It means if your business gets sued, your personal stuff, your house, your car, your savings is shielded. It's the ultimate defensive play. All right, let's move over to the engine of our structure. This is your active business on the left side of that T. It's where you're trading your time or your expertise for money. This is the part that fuels everything else. So once your business is consistently pulling in over $50,000 in net profit, a really powerful tax strategy opens up. And we're not talking about saving a few $100 here. We are talking about thousands, and I mean thousands, in tax savings every single year. This slide shows you exactly how it works. By making a simple tax election to be treated as an S-Corp, you can legally split your income. Part of it becomes a reasonable salary, which gets taxed like normal. But the rest of it, that's a distribution. And it is not subject to that painful 15.3% self-employment tax. Now, the key, of course, is figuring out what a reasonable salary is, and that takes some careful planning. I mean, just look at these numbers. They're striking. On $100,000 of profit, a standard LLC pays over $15,000 in self-employment tax. Ouch! But with an S-Corp election and, say, a reasonable $30,000 salary, that tax gets slashed to under $5,000. That's a saving of over $10,000 a year, right back in your pocket. Okay, now let's talk about the other side of the structure, the vault. This is where you park the cash your engine makes, putting it to work in passive, wealth-building assets.
This is an absolutely critical risk management strategy. Each major asset, like a rental property, should be quarantined in its own separate LLC. This creates legal firewalls. So if a tenant slips and falls at one property, any lawsuit is contained to that single LLC. Your other properties, your main business, your personal assets, they all remain completely untouched.
Now this is where the whole architecture gets truly elegant. We can actually use the assets that are in the vault to legally chop down the taxes generated by the engine. We're going to connect the two sides of the T.
So the tax code puts up this wall. It's called the passive activity loss rules. Basically, it means any paper losses from your rentals, like depreciation, get trapped. They can only offset rental income, not your main salary or business profit. But, and this is a big but, there are powerful, totally legal ways to just knock that wall right down. There are two main keys to unlock this huge tax benefit. The first one, real estate professional status. That's for people who are pretty much full-time real estate investors. But for most of us, with busy careers, the second key is the real game changer, the short-term rental loophole, which has a much, much lower time commitment. The path forward is crystal clear. You can see the 4 steps right here. If your average guest stays 7 days or less, and you materially participate, which means you manage the property yourself for at least 100 hours, you can break down that wall. But the secret to maximizing this whole thing is step 3, accelerating your depreciation. A cost segregation study, it's like strapping a supercharger to your tax deductions. See, normally, you depreciate a rental property over almost 30 years. It's a slow drip. But a cost seg study lets you identify parts of the property like carpets, appliances, fixtures, and depreciate them way faster, over just 5 or 7 years. This front loads all your deductions, creating a massive paper loss in year 1 that you can use to wipe out your other income. Okay, let's zoom out for a second and see how all these pieces, the trust, the engine, and the vault, fit together perfectly to create this powerful, self-sustaining system for wealth creation. You see, this isn't just a collection of clever tactics, it is a fully integrated architecture. The engine on the left generates cash. That cash buys assets for the vault on the right. Those assets then generate tax savings that protect the engine's income. And the entire structure rests on the protected foundation of the trust. It's a perfect self-reinforcing loop. This insight just captures that fundamental shift in mindset perfectly. It's about moving from just making money to deliberately building a system, an architecture designed to grow, to protect, and to last for generations. And that really is the crucial question to think about, isn't it? Building real wealth is not an accident, it's an act of design. The blueprint is right here, it's just a matter of starting to build.